How do you deal with a buyer that is not satisfied? You are a real estate agent and you have this buyer that no matter what you do, they just don't seem to be satisfied. Imagine that, right? We all go through it. Hey, I'm Paul R. Atkinson, your professional coach, and in this video, I'm going to share with you just what you can do to deal with that buyer that is not satisfied. Before we get started, click on the subscribe button and join our community. And also remember to give this video a thumbs up, a like. And in the description of the video, click on the description, you're going to find a lot of tools that you can use to be successful and how to deal with that buyer that is just never satisfied no matter what. So let's jump into it, right? What are we talking about right now? We're talking about a buyer that you've been dealing with or you have dealt with or you think dealing with. And that no matter what you do, they just don't seem to be satisfied. They like throw you under the bus no matter what, right? Some people say buyers are liars, right? A lot of people say that. But there's a way how to deal with that. There's a way how to handle it emotionally and let's say psychologically somewhat or sales skillfully, so to speak. I'm going to show you how to do that in the video, right? So the buyer is just a pain in the you-know-what, and no matter what you do, you get so angry, you're so frustrated. I mean, I deal with that all the time, right? We all do. But there's a way how to get around it. Now, you must first ensure that you are connected with the buyer. That is why I always say that the first step of the sale, 5 steps to the sale, when we talk about it often, is my selling technique. I don't go anywhere from step 1, which is conversation, having that connection. I don't go to step 2. I don't go anywhere. I don't go to any other step unless I know I'm connected. If I'm not connected, I can't move forward with the sale process. I'm serious. So here's a reminder. When you come across this buyer, you're dealing with this buyer and they're becoming so difficult to deal with, just ask yourself, am I connected with them? Because that's what you need to do. Well, what do I mean connected with you? Do you have some kind of commonality? Is there something that you two associate with? Does that buyer like you? Do they trust you? Do they believe in you? Because you need to have that. And if you don't, you got to try and reestablish it right there on that spot to iron out this difficult buyer. You got to iron them out. So you got to ensure that there's a connection. That's the first thing you want to do. And then that leads into you finding out what their somewhat issues are or their objections. Like, why are they behaving this way? You got to be a rational thinker. You have to think about it. What is the reason why they're like? It's their personality. They're just like that. Then you've got to know how to deal with it. And there's many techniques on how to deal with it. For example, if you have someone that's just a personality that they are very aggressive and they just need to know everything, then just feed them everything. There's many times where when I communicate one of my buyers and I know their style, I'll give them a copy, a screenshot of all the text message of the communication that's happening. Full disclosure, I help to build a rapport. I get them to really trust me in doing that. I get them to really know that, hey, you know what, Paul is not lying, man. He's really, at some point, that's just one little technique, one that helps. That you don't even have this problem with the buyer being, what. So that's one thing that you can use. There's more too, and I want to tell you about it. You also want to remind the buyer what they're wanting and what they're needing and what their DBM is, how they're going to feel once they get it. You have to remind them sometimes. Sometimes they just lose focus. Then you have to say, hey, I just want to make sure you're still wanting to have a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath in an area that's good with the school zone, right? Or maybe, has that changed? Has that changed for you? And then sometimes, when you see this little difficult buyer, something has changed. And they're like, well, yes, I was talking to so-and-so. And so-and-so said that, perhaps this is not a good idea, perhaps this, perhaps that. In Jamaica, we say a horse dead and cow fat. But listen to me. things are always moving through the cycle of the sale, and you have to reconfirm with them. That's why they're being difficult, because the communication is a little bit twisted. They're learning something different from interacting and talking to other people, and you're not there, and you don't know. So just check back in with them, right? You have to make sure you're connected with them, and then you check back in and like, hey, are you still wanting the same thing? I sense that you're a little bit irritated right now. Whatever it is, let them know. That's the next thing that I want to talk to you about. You got to confront them professionally. You need to be upfront and say, hey, look, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit like you're irritated right now. I could see on your face like you're not really comfortable with this house or that house. Or I could hear in your voice right now on the phone that, you're really irritated because we didn't get this offer accepted. I am so sorry. Don't worry. I want to encourage you. Whatever it is, you've got to confront them, but be professional about it. And I'm not saying for you to be sympathetic. You have to empathetic, right? Empathize. You have to empathize. You have to let them know that, hey, you know how they feel. You know what they're feeling. You've been there. Others have been there, right? I can understand how you feel because others have been there. That's one of my verbal bridges that I use all the time to calm my buyers down so that they're not dissatisfied. Very important technique. But you see, all that I'm talking to you right now about, it's in the 5 steps to the sale. And I know it's been many years. I've been studying this from over, I don't know what 25 years is, right? I'm a smart guy, but what's that? A long time, right? Over 25 years, right? Long time. So these are some of the things that you can do to just say iron out that dissatisfied buyer or even eliminate the buyer from being dissatisfied. Isn't it interesting? Yes, it is. Now, here's what you also need to do. You've got to be real with the buyer. What do I mean by being real? You need to let them know that you are connected with them and you understand everything that they're feeling and what their thoughts are, and you're kind of like in sync, you're really in sync. And you're always in sync. Every step of the way, every motion, you're in sync. It's very, very, you be real. Let them know that, hey, you know what? I agree. This is like baloney. This is not right. You know what? They should have took the offer. Oh, you know what? This is right. The seller needs to give a credit. However, this is how we would go about it. Let's look at the bright side. They can't afford to give a credit. So, maybe they have a mortgage to pay. So let's just kind of calm down, right? What if that's just the maximum. They just can't give anything at all but just $500. You know what? Let's look at it this way. I took a look. I'm giving you an example right now, people. I took a look at the value of the house, and it should have appraised for $10,000 more. So maybe you're not getting the credit right now that you're upset about, but you should have a lot of equity. Let's keep a positive attitude. We need good energy right now. Let's keep moving forward. Okay? That's it. That's a little role play, a little sample of how you deal with a dissatisfied buyer. All these things coming up, Listen, when I coach and coach you, these are some of the things that we do, and we do it very effectively. We practice. We role play. We see what's going on, and we just work it through. And we develop these skills on how to deal with a buyer, a difficult buyer, as a matter of fact. And finally, the most important thing you could do is learn to be patient. You've got to be patient with the buyer. So many times, I run through a time when the buyers are frustrated, they're being difficult, but it's because they're not able to get what they want. You've got to be patient. You can't show them your anxieties. You can't show them that, man, you need this money right now to pay this bill. You can't do that. You have to put that aside. You can't show them that you're so frustrated with them. First of all, I like all my buyers because that's part of my selling skills. I need them to like me, and I need to like them too. So I really like them as a person. So I really care about them, right? And that's an important part of being patient. You're patient with the person. You need to understand that. And these are the things that I want to tell you how to deal with a dissatisfied buyer. Until next time, I've got to run. But remember, in the description of this video, click on the link that's going to help you. If you've not subscribed to the channel, do so now. And be sure to like this video and watch more videos on how to help you build your real estate practice. Until next time, I'll see you real soon. Let's go get them, Peg.